a little tunnel. Hold on, hold on. I had a little bit of an accident with this exact car. Listen, wait for it, wait for it. Good times. Well, hello. Kev Knight's here from Vision Prestige. Thanks for coming back. Welcome if you're a new subscriber. And if you like what you see and you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Welcome back if you are a subscriber. Thanks for coming back. Lovely to see you. Hope you are all well. So, now I know the thumbnail of this one might be a little bit stretched, so we say. I know that. But bear with me, because what we're talking about here is this lovely little Abarth. And we're talking about this little car. It's all a little bit, oh, it's a bit windy today, and my light's falling over. Oh, it's getting covered in dust. Right, let's ignore all of that. Why we're talking about this, I'll tell you why we're talking about this exact car. Because whilst I was preparing and everything this car, I was trying to think about what makes this car so special, other than driving it, the noise of it, everything like that. And I thought about this thumbnail, because when these things were marketed, obviously they were marketed very much with Ferrari in mind. And it got me to thinking, I thought, right, if I was going to compare this to a Ferrari, what would this need to make the comparison a reality? I know it's not a reality, but bear with me, you know what I'm saying, right? So this is a 1.4 turbo, 180 horsepower, competizione. This is the flagship of Abarth. That's the only thing that we can call it. This is the highest output model that they make. You can't buy a more powerful factory version of this car. So the way I see it, if we were going to compare this to a Ferrari, we couldn't just compare it to some old 355 or something like that, because 355s are cool, I know that. But this is the flagship of this model. So if we were going to compare this to a Ferrari, we'd have to compare it to like a 430, something like that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to compare this to a 15-year-old. This is 7 years old. We'll compare it to like a 15-year-old 430. That's what we're going to do. So straight off, when you think about Ferraris, I know this is an arguable point. You've got to think about bright red, haven't you? So straight away, that's that box ticked. It is bright red. You've also got to think that it's got to have some sort of animal of some kind on the badge designating that this is something special, so anyone in the car community know what that stands for. Box ticked. It's got one of them. It's also got to have big fat red calipers on the brakes. Tick. It's got them. And the aforementioned brakes have got to be so big that it's got to make you question whether you should part exchange the car before they need replacing. Box ticked. Right. What else? It's got to have exhausts on the back that are so big it makes you question whether this is a wheelbarrow or a car. Marvellous. Box ticked. It's got them. What else has it got to have? It's got to have some sort of race car bucket type seats. Look at them, look. Box ticked. It's got them. It's also got to be so loud that when you start it up, it doesn't sound like a normal car. It makes you think, what is that? Well, it's definitely loud, but it can't just be loud. It's got to make people turn around. It's got to make people think, should it sound like that? That's what a Ferrari does. And this does that, as you will see, by a reaction of someone that was here the other day, because he thought exactly that.
Wow, that is mental. That is mental. That is awesome.
So what else have we got to compare this? Right, it's got to be a two-door. It's clearly a two-door, three-door hatch, I know that, but you know what I mean. It's got two doors. Box ticked, no problem with that. It's also got to have outlandishly expensive, silly little parts which physically cannot be this expensive. We're going to come back to that And you'll see later on in the video that this has definitely got one of them, but we'll come back to that. So what we're going to do now, you're going to join me yesterday. We've done this video a little bit backwards because this is prepped and going out in precisely 15 minutes. But so what you're going to do, you're going to join me yesterday just after I pick this up from getting serviced from the same place where we got Stu's grey Abarth service. Dave looked after that. Stu, hi if you're watching. You can quickly join me and then we'll come back here after. Well, here we are again. Just leaving Avanti. He's just picked up the little Fiat 500. Look, I'm smiling. I called it a Fiat 500. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's start this again. Not allowed to call them a Fiat 500. All Abarth customers do get upset when you call these Fiat 500s. We'll just get out of this junction. What a great day. What a great day to be driving a cool little car. Oh, there's a bridge coming up. Hold on, a little tunnel. Hold on, hold on. So straight away, we're going to have a quick chat about these Abarths. This is the second one we've now had. I don't know that much about them, I'm not going to lie to you. So if you're a subscriber of the channel, you know we had a 145 horsepower one of these. We sold to the lovely guy. Stu, if you're watching, hello. So that was the grey one. And this is what can only be described as the top of the pops. This is the pinnacle of Abarth. It's got great little bucket seats, as you can see. We're going to come back to them seats because they've been a pain and they've bitten me. We'll come back to them in a mo. And we're now just going on a dual carriageway because I want to get straight into what these cars are obviously all about, how they make you feel. Because it's sort of, as soon as I get back in one of these, literally just makes me feel like a 20-year-old again. You know, I'm not 20 anymore, I know that. I enjoyed being 20 very much because luckily, hold on. Luckily, I was born in an age, in the 80s, where I matured at the ripe old age of 17, 18, where we were surrounded by cool cars like the Fiesta RS Turbo, which I had, Escort RS Turbo, which I was also lucky enough to have. I had a 3-door Sierra Cosworth when I was 21. You know, it was good times. These cars, yeah, all right, I paid thousands and thousands of pounds for insurance, but I was living at home. What else you got to spend your money on when you're living at home other than a cool car? That's because I wanted to drive these cars, and I do not regret even 1 second of it. I had the best time going to car shows, driving in sort of convoys with all my mates, flames spitting out of our exhausts. It was amazing. But that was a time where you could buy an RS Turbo or a Sierra Cosworth for a normal amount of money, sub £10,000. Times are not like that anymore, unfortunately. So what I've sort of come to the conclusion of, to try and replicate the sort of feeling that them front wheel drive, the Cosworth was rear wheel drive, but the Fiestas, the Escort RS Turbos, they were front wheel drive cars with a lot of power. They didn't have clever diffs and stuff in the gearboxes when, you know, I was sort of running 260 horsepower through my Escort RS Turbo, and when that thing came on boost, all the front wheels wanted to do was rip the steering wheel out your hand. It was mega. And these little cars are what I can only sort of describe as like a modern age RS Turbo. They're the closest you're going to get to that sort of experience in the modern day, because they just don't make cars like these anymore. Now, I know I've sort of put on the thumbnail, well, I think I've put it on the thumbnail of comparing one of these to a Ferrari. And the reason I've compared this to a Ferrari, they did market these with a Ferrari sort of in your brain. And the reason why I've put, can you compare one of these to a Ferrari? The reality is, I've never owned a Ferrari. I probably will never own a Ferrari. So you may be thinking, Kev, you're really not the perfect example of the person to be able to do a comparison. But I know people that have owned Ferraris, and the general consensus of a Ferrari ownership is, they look cool, this looks cool, they sound mega, this sounds mega, you know, they turn heads, clearly this little thing turns heads, and they just make you feel like you're in a special car. That's the sort of general consensus of a Ferrari, and this does every single one of them. You know, it sounds, now going past Pro Vida, it sounds like this, You know, it's... If someone would see this, they would think, wow, what's that coming? It's loud. It is loud. And yet, you can buy one of these. You know, you could buy this exact car. You can't buy this one because it's sold. But you could buy a like for like this exact car, and all, you know, for sub 12 grand. You know, it's, yes, you can spend over 20 grand on an Abarth, blah, blah. But this one, you know, it's now, I mean, how old is this? This one's 7 years old, it's done 44,000 miles. Beautiful history, beautiful ownership, that sort of stuff. It's a great car, but unless you've got hundreds of thousands of pounds, and then the likes of the purchase price of this car just for an annual service, most of us can't afford to buy Ferraris. I definitely can't. So I thought that's why this little video, we would make this little video. Now clearly, yes, Abarths are going to have a bit of a drawback. You know, they're not the best built cars in the world, we know that. But you can sort of overlook that when they have put this little engine in a car the size of a Tootsie Roll, and then they went and bolted on the turbo, which only sounds like it should be located in America on a massive, great articulated lorry being filmed in Die Hard 4, because that's exactly the same sound that you get when you're watching Die Hard 4, listening to that articulated lorry spool up when old matey's in the back on his computer trying to ruin the financial world of the USA. This thing sounds exactly the same. It's just a little bit of a monster. So I thought we'd get out, we'd do a little bit of filming. So I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll just get back to work. Oh, there's a bridge, a tunnel. I'll tell you what, we won't go back to work, we're going to quickly go. I'm such a child, I know I'm a child. Oh, here we go. Oh, it sounds mega already. Listen, wait for it, wait for it. Good times. I'm actually going to interrupt this video quickly because I had a little bit of an accident with this exact car. You know, before it was prepped, it still isn't prepped. I've got to do the prep. I'm now going back to work to do the prep on it now because it's going out tomorrow. But I'm going to show you this little video so you can see what I did. I don't know if you can see this seat in shot, but the seat is still in bits, and you're going to see that now. I'll show you that now. Right. So I know what you're going to be thinking. You're thinking, Kev, why on earth are you in the back of the Abarth taking the seat apart? And instead of telling you, I'm going to show you. So if you watch this little clip, you'll see exactly what I did. Well, that was me breaking the seat back release on this little Abarth. And I mean, I don't know whether it's like a, hey, there, that's been glued before. Oh, for God's sake. So what's actually happened is, in these posh seats, Sabelt seats, or however that's pronounced, you got this little release in the back which goes down here, and as you saw by that video, I pulled that up, and I thought I'd just pulled it up and snapped it myself, but now it transpires that someone's tried to repair this before, badly. So what I'll do, I'll come round here and I'll show you exactly what's happened here. There you go, look, so there's the mechanism on the back of what can only be described as a race seat. Looks like a race seat, look, doesn't it? It's kind of a Formula 1 car or something. And what's actually happened is, here's a mechanism here, which that lifts up like that. Lifts up the two cables, one goes to that release, one goes down to this release. And as you can see by the little bit of goop in there, look, someone's tried to glue that before. It's not that smooth anymore, so I'm guessing it's a little bit rough on the outside. As you can see by this one, that's rough on the outside as well. Look, you can see well, at least someone tried using some red glue or painted it, I don't know. So this car goes out in a day, so I'm going to try and repair it. I am with my little Dremel tool. What I'm doing, I'm just cutting them little plastic grills away to make that channel in the middle of that handle a hollow channel. Get my little chisel, do a little close-up. Hopefully I'll do a little close-up so you can see it. There you go, there's a little channel. That's exactly what I mean. So then I grab a little bit of sheet metal, measure it up, get my little angle grinder out, start making some sparks, and you can see the shape of the little bit of the metal sliver which I actually put in the middle there. There you go, you can see what I'm doing now, can't you? So then what I ended up doing after that, I grab my drill, start drilling 2 little holes each side of the plastic handle, so then I can then put that little metal sliver that I've actually just cut within that little channel and then line it up. Oh, a little bit of a countersink there for the screw heads, and then I'll line it up. Hopefully I'll do you a little bit of a, oh look at that, look. You can see that it's flush there, so it goes in and out of the channel in the seat. But then hopefully I'll line it up with a little, there you go, a little close up with the hole so you can see what I've done. Just make them little holes line up with the screws, so then when I drill the holes in that little plate, I know full well they're going to line up in the handle. So then I'll do a little bit of a dry run, put a little bit of a glue in between the handle, put the metal sliver in, and then I'll put the little screws in, put the nuts on the other side, and hopefully in a minute I'll do a little bit of a close-up so you can see what I mean before I put all of the glue in. There it is, that you can see it's flush so they don't protrude. And I actually did them Phillips screw heads up whilst holding the little 8mm on the back with my spanner, submerged it all in glue and then just let it go off overnight so I could see what it looked like the next day. And here we go. So this is the next day, and other than the horrendous mess, I apologise about that, there's the handle. So that is my fixed handle. So what I've ended up doing, you saw me fill all that up with glue, I've just ended up smoothing it down and painting it just to make sure it's all red. But as far as the actual handle goes, that is now all fixed. It's all flush, it's all smooth, it's all red. It now weighs a ton because it's full of metal screws and glue. That is never ever going to snap again. I mean, I can categorically say that it's probably harder than that ever was and ever will be. And I can understand if you're going, Kev, why on earth have you just put all of that effort into doing that? Now, there's 2 reasons for this. One is because that little Abarth has actually gone now, as you can see. The Audi is there now because this is the next day and we had to take the Abarth this morning to get serviced before it goes out. So the seat is still looking a bit poorly because I haven't put it back together. But it's not only that, I'm going to show you a picture from an internet site from where pretty much the only place I could find a replacement one of these. I'm going to show that to you now. Over £400. That's why I've ended up fixing it. So when that comes back, we'll get it put in and hopefully that will be all good. So I didn't want to bore you me putting that handle back in. So what you're actually watching now, you're watching snippets from my CCTV footage after that car has come back from servicing. And it's pretty much me now getting it ready for it to go out for the new customers to pick up. There was just a fairly serious amount of wet vacuuming, hoovering, treating all of the inside of the trims, cleaning the windows. I've done a 2-stage correction on the paintwork, so you can see me doing the bonnet here. I end up going around the whole car twice with different pads and different compounds, and then pretty much move it outside, put it in front of the office, waiting for the customers to come and pick it up to drive their new shiny car away. There it goes. Oh, look at that. What a cool little car. Don't you get that dirty? Oh, the sun comes. Whoa. Well, there they go. That's another happy customer. Cool little car. Now, I know this has been a bit of a stupid video. I know that. I know you can't compare a Ferrari with an Abarth. I know you can't compare a 200 grand car to a 12 grand car. I know that. However, let's all be honest. Who the hell has got 200 grand to spend on a car? If I had 200 grand to spend, do you know what I'd do? I'd buy a house and I'd put that on the driveway. So I know that, but I thought we'd just make a video about that anyway. So I just want to say thanks for watching this one. Hit that like button if you like what's going on. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a comment. Let us know what's going on. I don't know what video is going to come next, but what I do know is, and this is a hard one to say, we've just had our first and only 1-star review on Google. That's all I'm going to say about it at the moment, because I'm quite angry about it. And all I'm going to say is, if you want us to make a video about what's happened with that, hit it in the comments below. Just say, Kev, do a video on the 1-star, let us know what happened. I'd quite like to, if I'm honest, because I'd quite like to air it out. Makes me feel a bit better with you and letting know what's going on. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, bye, bye.